As we all know, extract shooters have become 2025's biggest trend in gaming, with original prominent games like Tarkov and Hunt Showdown paving the way, and recently Arc Raiders, which is under development by Embark Studios, has been all the talk. Yet Exoborne hasn't came up to the masses like the others and is easily a contender to be top 5 in the extract shooter genre, which begs the question, what is Exoborne? Exoborne invites us into a world built not from fantasy, but from the plausible extrapolation of our own ambition. This is a grounded apocalypse, not born of alien invasions or supernatural wrath, but the consequence of humanity's hubris attempts in tampering with climate systems too complex to control. The game setting is a shattered United States, specifically the southern eastern corridor, where once familiar towns now lie in ruin, overtaken by feral weather, reclaimed by the wind, and haunted by the infrastructure of a failed utopia. At the center of this collapse is Project Rebirth, a massive scientific initiative now defunct that sought to engineer environmental stability. What remains of it are derelict towers and storm-warped landscapes, speaking volumes about its ambitions and, sadly, its failures. You step into this world as a reborn, a fusion of human will and mechanical evolution. The exo-rig isn't just gear, it's a symbol of adaptation. It doesn't overpower the environment, it negotiates with it. It allows you to fly, to climb, to simply survive. But it also forces you to respect the terrain. You aren't a god, you are participating in a living, hostile environment. The factions populating this world aren't characters of good and evil, they are survivors, each with philosophies born from the same trauma, training to interpret the storm in their own way. Through them, we see the psychological fractures of a post-collapse society. But the most fascinating character in Exoborne isn't a person, it's the environment. Weather here isn't cosmetic, it's a design system. Tornadoes alter the battlefield, lightning strikes can destroy cover or create opportunities. Extraction is not just about fighting others, it's about predicting nature's intent. And that unpredictability forces a rare kind of immersion where planning becomes reactive and the landscape feels conscious. So, if Exoborne has a message, it's this. Survival isn't about dominance, it's about adaptability, putting your skills as a player to the test. And the world, as it turns out, doesn't need to hate you to kill you. It just needs to be itself. Now that we have a better understanding of what Exoborne is, it's time to jump into the development part of this game. And to understand the world of Exoborne, you first need to understand the studio that made it and what they were running from. Exoborne isn't just a game, it's a response developed by Sharkmob that was prominently known for their vampire battle royale game known as Bloodhunt. This project marks a philosophical pivot after experimenting with the battle royale mechanics and urban verticalities. The developers began asking a different question. What does it mean to survive in a world where the enemy is not just other players, but the world itself? Set in a near-future America torn apart by ecological collapse, Exoborne's development was guided by a single ambitious vision: to fuse emergent environmental storytelling with the risk-reward tension of a extraction shooter game. Sharkmob didn't want to build just another post-apocalyptic shooter. Instead, they constructed a world-first design loop, where the environment isn't just backdrop, but a living reactive system. The storms, the shifting weather, the tornadoes, the fire tornadoes, these aren't set dressings, they are design pillars, and building that system required more than just FX. It required predictive AI, dynamic level scripting, and a commitment to vertical transversal, rarely seen in open world shooters. Rather than shoehorning players into predefined classes, exo rigs were developed as a modular transversal and combat suits. Flexible, readable, and responsive. Their role in game is layered. Sharkmob also leaned into unpredictability as a gameplay philosophy. Unlike most PvPvE titles, where enemy behavior is largely static, Exoborne injects instability at every level, from weather to factions to resource locations. This design system that could break their own rules and still make sense. The storm is the meta, essentially. And then finally, in their development process, was their visual storytelling. Rundown towers, fractured highways, rusted extraction points was shaped by architects and cinematic designers, not just level artists. You can feel the human presence in every ruined outpost, and that's no accident. It's designed to remind the player this isn't a fantasy world, it's ours, just a few bad decades away. So while the other shooters push for dominance, Exoborne quietly asks, what does survival look like when the enemy is the planet itself? And it answers not with exposition, but with systems. Systems that crash into each other, shift under your feet, and force you to adapt. The development process is nothing short of amazing. With due time, Exoborne can be a refreshing experience in a time where us gamers get spoon-fed the same boring, dull games every year. And finally, it comes down to the question all of us are really asking, and is, when is the release date? As of right now, they haven't posted any information about a release date, but just a few weeks ago on their official Discord, they posted 2 video clips that I'm going to be putting in here for y'all to watch, or if you guys would like, by all means, go into their Discord and watch it yourself. But these are the only things they have recently released out to the general public, and it can hint to them possibly releasing it sooner or later. It's up to your interpretation, but as of right now, I just kind of want to set a ground base for people that really don't know what Exoborne is about, and I felt like a little hint to the lore about how the systems work and integrate with the gameplay mechanics would be useful information. But other than that, my name is Easy. If you guys like this kind of content, I definitely would like to try and keep doing it. So other than that, like and subscribe, and y'all have a good one.
Reading ancient history, what struck me was how familiar it all was. Patterns that repeat themselves. War, famine, decay, desolation. I've always been a believer in technology as an amplifier of human potential. The only limiter is the human mind. If we can imagine solutions, we can realize them. Be the future. Be extraordinary.
Brothers and sisters, gear up and prepare to fight.